Once your product goes active on Amazon, there's a small time window where you can really boost your organic rankings. That's called the honeymoon. But what if you could actually get another honeymoon? A second honeymoon? That's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. Hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to get new videos every week. Topic today is honeymoon's not over. So how to reactivate the Amazon honeymoon period. How to reactivate the Amazon honeymoon period. So what am I talking about here? Let's see. Main thing is that the first month once the product listing activates on Amazon is the most crucial time. This is actually the most important time of our listing. This means that the product doesn't have any kind of sales data yet because it's brand new. Amazon really doesn't know what it is. And that means that it's not really able to identify like, okay, what is its true potential? So what it really means that Amazon algorithm tests out the product to figure out its potential. So it's gonna try to figure out that, okay, what is this really optimized for? What kind of search terms and what kind of people would be interested in this product? So during this product, it's going to give a lot of like extra push for the product simply because it doesn't understand what it is yet. There's no sales data saying per every single keyword and so on. So this also includes collecting data per search term. And actually that's one of the most important data that it's collecting. So the algorithm is trying to figure out that, okay, what is the potential sales for this product for different search terms. And key thing is that, okay, we have established that honeymoon period is important. So how do we really make the most out of this time? Because it's so important time. First of all, I mean, get as many sales as possible throughout the whole period. That's what we have to do. We have to like time our launch like appropriately to really make the max out of this honeymoon period. So we have to do everything possible there is to increase sales. And that means that includes getting the conversion rate high. And it has to be higher than, it has to be better than the competitors. I mean, in terms of sales. So if you are getting, let's say that if you are getting the same amount of sessions that the competitors are getting, then I mean, we simply have to have a better conversion rate than the competitors are having. But one thing is also consistency. Like during this period, if the sales really fluctuate a lot, like going up and down, up and down, up and down, I mean, that's not going to get us the best results. So ideally, we want to be getting like consistent and really like minimum amount of sales every single day. So we really want to hammer during this period and convince the algorithm that this product is a winner. I mean, product is something that Amazon should be pushing. And I mean, typically, the honeymoon period is not long. It's like 30 days, 1 month. I mean, in some cases it can be a bit longer, but I mean, what we basically see that like pretty much after a month, I mean, it's gone. And when it's done, it's done. Meaning that once the algorithm has figured out, I mean, once the algorithm has done its thing, I mean, doing this whole process of evaluating a new product listing, then I mean, it's just going to move on. It's going to put our listing into this state that it has history, it has like track record, and then that's going to be like the benchmark and the foundation for our listing. So I mean, when it's done, it's done. But I mean, sometimes we do mess up our honeymoon. So even if maybe we have some misunderstandings there, I mean, with our team. So okay, someone actually, there's an old date there. I mean, or we actually don't notice when the inventory arrives to Amazon. And this can especially happen like when you have a lot of products and you have a lot of different like marketplaces. So that's what I also mean, that you have to be really able to put the effort into every single product, because there's no point in launching 5 products at the same time if we are not able to make the use of this honeymoon, because this is the most important time, so we really need to get it right.
One question, is the honeymoon per ASIN or per?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
if there is a variable listing, and you add, for example, new color to that listing.
Typically, I mean, in some categories, I mean, yeah, it's all about the ASN IN. So I mean, these can also, I mean, variations can also be, at least in some categories, separated. And you can also create like variations out of old listings, meaning that you initially created those separately and you just can combine those into variation. So I mean this. So variation, I mean, consider it more like a container. So you have a container that includes all these different listings. So it doesn't mean that, I mean, the container itself is not a listing.
Yeah, right. Okay. So the parent listing is not a real listing.
No. So it's just all about the children variations.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So okay, let's say that we are damn, we just messed up our honeymoon, and it's been like 3 months, and we are trying to like reactivate the listings, but I don't know, maybe 6 months goes by and we still have like really low amount of sales. I mean, maybe we had done some different kind of campaigns, but we are not getting the results that we want to have. So what if we could actually get the honeymoon back somehow? That would be pretty sweet, right? Well, we can do a reset. So what do I mean with reset? And actually, even better question is that when to do reset. Because let's say if things are going pretty well, then it's not really the appropriate time to do any kind of reset. Because we need to understand what a reset means. It means basically wiping out the search term history. But anyway, when is a good time to, I mean, when is the time that we should consider doing a reset? It's when we have these poor search term rankings, because as I mentioned, like it's going to wipe out all this history. So, I mean, if we really have like terrible rankings, then I mean that's definitely good time to do it. And I mean, usually if we have low or like terrible rankings, we are going to be having a low amount of sales as well. And low amount of sessions, so that we just don't have the traffic on our listings, and our conversion rate is not good either. But I mean, some of these things you could actually fix. For example, conversion rate. So it's not about, you shouldn't do a reset if you have like something already like going well. Reset is basically always keep in mind that it's going to wipe out the whole search term history. So if you are ranking very well on some keywords, it's going to wipe out that. And of course, key question is always, okay, what about the reviews? No, I mean, resetting this, it's not going to touch the reviews. So I mean, reviews are going to stay there. It's more about wiping out the history of the product listing. Okay. So how can we do this then? Let's get into it. And by the way, a disclaimer, it doesn't always work. So, I mean, we have had cases that I mean, no matter what we do, I mean, it just doesn't seem to work. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, anyway, first of all, we need to take a backup of the listing. So we just download the listing flat file that includes all the listing fields. So this includes information input in the backend in Seller Central, as well as additional fields. And by the way, I mean, you should have an up-to-date backup for your listing always anyway, because if something changes on Amazon on your product listing, then when you have the backup, I mean, it's easy to get it back to your liking. In Seller Central, there's this category listings report, which basically have all the different fields regarding the product listing. And here we have, I mean, Seller Central keeps changing quite a bit, but I mean, this is basically how it looks right now. So here we have the opportunity to add products with uploads. I mean, by uploading these flat files. So flat file basically depends, or I mean, it's different in different categories. So you need to get the right template for your product, and you basically need to get it from the right category. So this is one example of the flat file. So it's basically just like Excel spreadsheet where you have different columns and values there. So it basically has all the fields that that you are able to add in Seller Central as well. Okay. Anyway, so we already have that. So it's time to remove. So we have we don't care anymore like what happens to the fields on the product listing. So we have already taken backup of everything. So let's start removing. So let's use this flat file to remove all the fields that there are. And we basically only want to keep the SKU code there. And then we are going to be uploading the flat file with update command. So this flat file has different commands like remove, update, delete. So we're going to be using this command of update, which means that it's basically going to check like every single field there is, and if we have like just empty fields, then it's just going to replace those fields. So this is going to wipe out all the fields that we have in the product listing. All right, cool. So now that we have wiped out all the fields, then it's time to actually delete the listing. And one thing to keep in mind is that, I mean, you cannot delete ASINs from this from Amazon, because I mean, it's basically Amazon's product catalog, and I mean, you can delete your I mean, even if you, when we say actually deleting the listing, it doesn't actually, I mean, delete the ASIN code or anything like this. So it just means that they're basically, we are going to just wipe out all the data from it. But anyway, so we are going to be using the command delete on the flat file. So the listing should disappear from manage inventory, and this will result into that any inventory that we have in on Amazon, it's going to become this stranded inventory. So that means that I mean, we can do a reset even if we have inventory on Amazon. So I mean, it's typically not a problem. So it just means that the inventory will be disconnected, but it's not a big deal in like connecting inventory to your product listing. And maybe you have seen these cases before. I mean, who has ever seen that their inventory has become stranded? Anyone seen this before? I mean, it might happen for several different reasons without even, I mean, having nothing to do with this resetting. So yeah, I mean, it can happen anyway, but then once we delete the listing, I mean, all the keyword rankings should disappear. So if you have a tool that is tracking these keyword rankings and all the history, I mean, it should all go empty, because that's exactly the data that we want to remove from Amazon, because we want to start fresh. Okay, then it's just time to check that, okay, did it actually work? So we just open our listing using the URL. So you can, use this amazon.com/dp/your ASIN code. And basically, I mean, even when we do this, I mean, it doesn't really delete it, but it just deletes all the data regarding it. So the URL should go to this page where you can meet all the different dogs on Amazon. So their Amazon employees have different dogs. So usually, I mean, when the page is not found, it's going to display one of those dogs that Amazon employees have. Next, we have to wait at least 24 hours. And 24 hours will be counted basically from midnight to midnight in California time. And it's a Pacific time, because I mean that's basically Amazon's headquarters. So if you do anything during this, if you do not wait this, then you're basically going to mess it up. So it's really important that you wait this period. Then it's time to upload the flat file. But here it's super important that we actually set the dates into the future. So this means the launch date, the release date, and so on. I mean, they have to be set into the future. And if you are still not quite certain that when you're going to relaunch, then I mean, just add enough time that add those such a long period that you have enough time in getting everything worked out. And by the way, I mean, you can update these dates later on. So I mean, if you set it like a year from now, I mean, that's fine. Then once we have this flat file, then we just upload the flat file with this update command on Seller Central. Then it's basically, let's say that it's time to relaunch. So, I mean, we want the honeymoon period to start from the time that we are doing the launch, right? Because if we have only 30 days to make most of it, I mean, we really want to time it right, that we have the best, I mean, we have the best odds for the best possible outcome. Because we have 30 days to prove Amazon that this is a product that should be given a lot of like organic visibility. So let's say that time has now come, so it is time for relaunch. So this means that we have everything ready, so we are ready to start all the different marketing campaigns and activities that we have planned. So we are going to be activating the listing. So I mean, really wait until you are really ready to launch, because always keep in mind that, I mean, 30 days is not much. It's going to go quick, and once it's done, it's done. So we are just going to be filling the whole listing. So that, I mean, that includes images and everything. I mean, it should be basically a complete listing with all the different fields that you want to have there. Then you just update the dates, and then you connect the stranded inventory. Because, I mean, listing can, FBA listing can only become active once it has inventory. So once the inventory is active, then, once the inventory is connected to it, then it will become an active listing if you have all the different fields there. Like, for example, I mean, including main images and all that. Makes sense? Then, I mean, after that period, basically the new honeymoon period begins. And we don't basically need to wait anything. Like, let's say that we have already everything in place that we could do a relaunch right away. So, but first we want to get this honeymoon period to really like revive the listing. So, I mean, it is possible, and we can do it straight away, basically even in the same week. So, meaning that we don't need to wait until weeks and weeks, or then we just change the dates that the release and launch date are actually the ones that are the real dates. So then, once we do this, then we have another 30-day period to really prove that the listing is worthy. Then it's time to make sales. So then it comes back to like what we saw before, like how to like really make the most out of this honeymoon period. Then we really need to get as many sales as possible throughout the whole period. So there needs to be consistency. So we have to do everything possible to increase the sales, and also not just get sales up, but conversion rate higher than high as well. So once we do it for the whole 30-day period, then we might have much better track record for Amazon. Yes, so then we basically have a second opportunity to deepen the relationship with Amazon. So that's how you can reactivate this honeymoon period. And like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time that we have done it, it has worked. So you get this another grace period to really kick off things if you messed up things the first time, or if you have situation where the product has kind of died, so your rankings are lower, and you're getting a lower amount of sales and so on. Hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to get more of these type of videos. There's a new video coming up every week. If you need help on selling on Amazon, then make sure to join my free Facebook group where there's tons of different resources regarding succeeding on Amazon. If you want me to look at your business, then make sure to tag me and let's schedule a call. Talk to you soon.